What's guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are not actually watching anything because, well, the season's wrapping up, a lot of shows are completing. We finished, 3 shows yesterday, we're going to finish another 3 today. And that means spring 2021 is fast approaching, and fast approaching. Like, I was planning on making this video this week anyway, but my schedule kind of messed it up a little bit. I was like, okay, it's fine, I can delay it a little bit. And then Funimation dropped the news that they're getting some certain series early, so I'm making this video now because the spring season starts on Monday. At least on the channel. If you're wanting to watch any of the anime series, they start on Sunday, technically, but I'm always a day behind based on when they air, so you kind of get the idea. So, if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I'm a British guy who reacts to seasonal anime. I've been doing this now, spring will be my 6th season in doing this, so approaching a year and a half of doing this now. And every beginning of the season, I like to do this type of video where I look at every single show I plan to watch, which is usually a lot of them. I plan to watch as many shows of many different genres as I physically can on the channel. Sometimes that means I have extremely busy days, that means I have to be very harsh on certain shows, but I want to experience everything that the season has to offer. It's no good me just getting stuck in with the same 6 types of shows that I enjoy, like my romance, my comedy, maybe a isekai here or there. I want to embrace every genre, so experiencing all the different sports animes, experiencing all the different random comedies, which we're going to start with here in a minute. Anything else, like sequels that are coming back, obviously I won't want to watch, but then all these other series that typically, maybe 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't necessarily want to watch, because it's like, oh, I don't think I'll like that. But I'm actually going to give them a go and see if they capture me, because there are certain series I've already watched on this channel that I never really would have expected to enjoy. So I like this approach. So that's how it's going to be done. And the way this video works is I have got in my little notepad here, I've actually had to buy a new one because my old one is now full. It's managed 5 seasons, bless it, but we've got a new one here. I have written down here every single day and the shows that I will be recording for that day. So for example, we're going to start with Monday shows here. But that is Monday for when the video comes out on my channel. This is not a guide to the spring 2021 season. This is my plans for the 2021 season. So this is when the videos will be releasing on my channel. So if I'm talking about a show that releases here on the channel on Monday, it means it probably broadcast on Sunday. That's just the way I have to work around it, because the shows come out, usually, the shows come out anywhere in the afternoon, evening time. Let's take Sunday, for example. They come out evening time on a Sunday. I record overnight, because that's just better for me in my personal scheduling. And then that means I can have them ready and uploaded for Monday. That's the way I've always run the channel, and it's the way I'm going to continue to run the channel as long as I can physically handle it. So that's what it means there. We have a lot of shows, and I still have certain ones not allocated to this. And it's already too much for me to handle, so I'm going to be very strict on some of these shows, and probably only give some of them 1 episode, even though I like to boast about the 3-episode rule being very good for shows. I'm going to have to be very critical and go for 1 episode on certain ones, so I apologize if a show you've been looking forward to just gets dismissed after 1 episode, and you say, oh no, it gets better after so many. It's like, sorry, I have very busy scheduling, and I don't think I can... I can't... I have to go with my gut on some of these ones, so that's the way it's going to work. But, yeah, we're going to get straight into it and start off with the Monday shows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the analyst page for each of these shows as we go through the days. I'm actually going to do a better job of putting timestamps in the video. Normally I just do day to day, but this time I'm actually going to do each individual show so you can see exactly which segment each individual show is. So if you're skipping to look for a certain show that you enjoy, you can go straight and find it. So that's hopefully what I plan to do. We'll see if that actually works. But yeah, let's load up the analyst page. And this is the first show on the Monday that we're going to be reacting to. It's not the first show of the season. I'll get to that in a minute. But here on Monday, we have Dragon Goes House Hunting. Already starting off with a phenomenal title. So this story follows Letty, a dragon who is cast out of their family home after failing to live up to some dangerously high standards, talk about relatable, and sets out to find a new place to live. Yeah, that makes sense. But in this world full of magical creatures, elves, dwarves, and more, it's not so easy for a fearsome dragon. Get ready for the high-stress world of real estate to collide with this comedy adventure. So yes, comedy show. Here is the image of it. There's our main dragon. I don't know who this is. Mostly humanoid. We do have a cute little mascot character there. I think we've got some beast people over here. It looks like there's somebody up there. I see some goblins, I think. I might see some orcs or something. Ogres, maybe? Hooded figures, probably antagonists if we ever get to that point. I'm going to guess you're like... I mean, you're not short enough, but you're like a human king or something. Here's the dwarves, maybe. Not the greatest mix of fantasy designs I've ever seen, I'll be honest. Like, especially since we've gone all out for our main character. I feel like some of the fantasy designs could be a bit more out there, maybe. That's just a small nitpick right from the off. Quite the cast. I swear, Mao's in everything these days. I swear. Letty, I recognize that name, but I don't know where. Kaito, I remember, he's a shield hero. So yeah, comedy fantasy show, not kind of what you expect, right? This is by Signal MD, and I don't believe I've ever watched anything from them. Like, they've also doing Mars Red this season, which we'll be taking a look at later. They've done movies more recently, but I've never watched a single show of them. They're a relatively new studio at 2015, but I've never watched any of their stuff. Not a single one. So, this would be my first real experience with them. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm expecting good quality. I mean, if they're doing a lot of movie-based productions, I do expect something, I suppose, but at the same time, I don't really know what I should expect, if that makes sense. But it looks interesting. A real estate-based anime. I wonder how... My query with this show is how heavy into real estate are they going to go? Like, are they actually going to go into mortgaging and renting private versus maybe a government-run one? Like, are they going to go, like, deep into it? And are they going to actually use, like, Japanese economic and real estate terminology and stuff like that? Or is it going to be mostly just, I try and find a house. Oh, I found quite a nice house. Oh, no, the neighbors are noisy. I need to move to a different kingdom. Like, are they going to go that route with it? Because that might diminish the enjoyment a little bit. Also kind of depends on the personalities of them. Letty seems like an interesting character. Definitely not the fearsome dragon that they're probably all expecting. There's going to be probably a gap there in the fact that, yes, fearsome dragon exterior, but really just a soft sweetheart that just wants a place to live, really. Also, I didn't even mention this cute little mascot character down here. You can see my mouse, right? Yes, you can see my mouse. Interesting looking show. I don't see any problems with it, except maybe it gets a bit samey after a while, but that happens with a lot of comedy series, and usually they have enough comedy to carry them through it, so I'll save judgment on that one, but this looks interesting. It's certainly an interesting premise, that's for sure. Next up, Farewell, My Dear Cramer, and already unfortunately, I feel like this may already be the first drop of the season, just because I have very, very little faith in sports anime. It's a shame, because sports anime deserve better, honestly, and it's not often that you get a sports anime that actually has, like, proper good adaptations. That said, apparently it has a prequel movie already that's planned, so they must have some faith in this, and it is a completed project, so we're not waiting on source material. So with no soccer accomplishments to speak of during the entirety of Sumire Suo's junior high school years, the young wing gets an odd offer. Oh, wing play, okay. Suo's main rival, Midori's Soshizaki, there we go, invites her to join up on the same team in high school with a promise that she'll never let Suo play alone. It's an earnest offer, but the question is whether Suo will take her up on it. Thus the curtain opens on a story that collects an enormous cast of individual soccer-playing personalities. So yeah, soccer. It's football. Get it right. But no, it's a USA page that published this, so therefore they call it soccer. Because, I don't know, gotta change the name of everything we invent here in Britain, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's Aoyuki and everything. Soccer anime. Design-wise, looks okay. It doesn't look super generic. I kind of like the attire. Interesting that they've gone for the ties, I think. Normally you wouldn't necessarily do that. Normally you go with like the like sailor uniforms and stuff, but they've kind of got a mix of maybe a bit more of a Western style in the clothing. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I just don't have much faith, even though it's Leiden Films, and Leiden Films are doing very well so far. Well, sort of, okay. Last Stand was okay, but just kind of lacking in animation. Cells at Work Code Black looks pretty good, and I'm enjoying that. This was generic, and this was just, I think it was a decision thing, not the studio thing for that one. So I'm not exactly concerned. It's not like it's a no-name studio, and they have done a successful sports anime in the past. Hanabado was actually a really good anime. It looked great, and it was actually quite compelling for what it was worth. So I'm not completely against this, but I just have very little faith when it comes to it. I always go in with super low expectations on sports-based anime. It's just what we end up dealing with. Also, why the hell is it called Farewell, My Dear Cramer? I don't see any character named Cramer. I don't know where that's a reference to. Like, is there a reference there? I genuinely don't know. I don't think there's a character called Cramer in all this, is there? Doesn't look like it, so I'm guessing it's a reference to a certain other thing? Who knows? But usually the title often links in some way. At least that's what I would have thought, so I guess we'll see. The mix of actual soccer and character building, because sports anime always end up character building, not the actual sport. And what we actually get with the animation of the sport, because it's so... Right now, no 3D tag. No CGI tag. So for now, we're doing okay. But I'm very, very concerned that they might go the Tamayomi route, which we did complete Tamayomi, just, in the way that they do the animation for the actual sport bit. And that is my concern, because that's a huge turn-off for a lot of people, and probably will dip the ratings even more than it probably already would on its own for being a sports anime. So, hopeful, but not expecting much, I think is the verdict there. Moriarty the Patriot Part 2, oh yes. So this is actually the first show of the season that will be coming out, and it will be coming out this Monday. So if you're watching this right now, this Monday is the 29th. It's coming out on the 29th. So get ready, I guess. Funimation is getting a special premiere for this to be a week early, so that's where we're starting, I guess. Yeah, we get this a week early, and I'm so happy for this. This was one of my favorite series from what was it? Fall? Yeah, Fall. I very much enjoyed this, and the way they left it off with the cliffhanger at the end of the season. If you haven't seen Part 1, obviously go watch Part 1 before you get into this. I will be doing some minor spoilers here for Part 1, so if you haven't seen it, please skip to the next one, or wait like 10 seconds, or whatever. Yeah, the way they left it off after the first part with establishing Sherlock and Watson, establishing the Moriartys properly, and now going into I believe the Irene Adler stuff. They kind of left it off introducing, I believe, a vague glimpse at Irene Adler, and also we've got the Monarch involved, Victoria, I believe. It should be Victoria. Yeah, it looks like we are going to be adapting that part of the story for Part 2, and I'm so excited for that because, God, this was good. And I'm hoping the OP and ED that they use for this season is going to be just as good. But, yeah, this is fantastic. I'm so happy for this. This is a split core show. We knew Part 2 was coming pretty much as Part 1 started. They announced it was going to be split core. We've even got 13 episodes this time. So the first part had 11. This one's got 13. Gonna love it. We get a full 24 episodes out of it, which is nice. I'm just so happy to have this cast back. Like, Moriarty and Holmes, love them. Albert was interesting through most of that season. Like, especially the way he held himself after we saw the backstory of him and how he came to know William and Louis. Seeing the way he sat in, like, on the boat scenes. Where he was like waiting for the performance. Oh yes, it's certainly a performance you don't want to miss, and all that like subtle foreshadowing stuff was like brilliant, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, this isn't being dropped. I can tell you that for now. Like, production IG would have to seriously mess up before I drop this show. Like, I love it so much already, and it's based on British, it's based on Sherlock. How could I not enjoy it? So, you know, I'm in. Regardless of what happens. I just hope the OP and ED can live up to the first season, because that's always a problem. But I guess we'll see. Next up, Combatants will be dispatched. Interesting title. So it turns out evil takes initiative. With world domination close at hand, the Kisaragi Corporation turns its sights on interstellar conquest, as you do. Who better to take over a magical world than two roundly assigned minions, Combat Agent 6 and his android partner, Alice. Android. Interesting, okay. But Six's path up the evil corporate ladder won't be easy. A Demon Lord's army is hatching its own Demon Lords and interstellar conquest. That's an interesting mix. I didn't expect that one. Okay. Not recognizing any names straight away. But yeah, okay. This looks to be quite something. It apparently is an isekai. I think that was technically a spoiler tag, really, because nothing about this says isekai. So I guess either early on we're going to be told it's an isekai, or that's a plot point for later. If it's a plot point for later, I feel like that should be a spoiler tag, but I don't necessarily see this as an isekai just based on that synopsis, but maybe Funimation is just giving us a poor synopsis. So this is by JC Staff, and I have watched plenty of their stuff before, haven't I? They're doing a lot this season, in fact. So yeah, they did Danmachi, they did Konosuba, Alice and Zoroku, which I think was a fairly underrated series. Yes, Prison School. So yeah, I've watched plenty of their stuff, especially some of their past stuff. And I think even this season I'll be watching more stuff that they've worked on, right? Yeah, I already see another 3 shows from... Yeah, I already see another 3 shows there that we will be looking at in a bit as well. Action, adventure, comedy, ecchi, fantasy, sci-fi. How many tags do you want? Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this looks interesting. The ecchi concerns me, because it always does, especially since our android here, Alice, looks to be of younger persuasion. I mean, yes, android. Yes, holding a shotgun. But still younger design, which can be a little uncomfortable for some people, so... I'm kind of curious as to where they're going with this, and what the animation quality is like, and what the actual story is going to end up being. It just seems weird to have Demon Lords and Interstellar Conquest. Oh, I see where they're going with this. Okay. I see. They've dominated... The Kisaragi Corporation has dominated the world. They're going to take over a magical world, so it's these people coming into a magical world. Technically an isekai, even if it's an intentional isekai in the event of taking over a world. Okay. That took a second to click in my head, because I glossed over the fact that it was taking over a magical world. So we're taking modern technology to an isekai, to a magical world. Interesting. I don't quite know how this is going to work. Like, are we going to team up with the Demon Lord army? Like, is the Demon Lord army planning to take over our world as well, or what's going on there? I have no idea. This could be very, very interesting, or it could be kind of disappointing. Again, seeing such a huge conflation of tags, especially ecchi, has to be concerned. That still frame doesn't exactly look fantastic, but it's a still frame. It never does. Harem-esque, sure. I guess we'll see. People seem to be planning to enjoy this one. I mean, this is one of those shows that is just like stupid comedy action that you just kind of turn your brain off and enjoy, right? So I can see the appeal, but whether it's to be my taste, I don't know. Final show of the day, because we got 5 shows on Monday already. 7 Nights Revolution, whatever that is. Do we have a translation for that? No, we don't. Okay. Eons ago, valiant heroes fought against the forces of destruction. Creative. While their deeds passed into legend, the power of these heroes was later inherited by successors who fought to protect the world. One day, Faria, successor of the 7 Knights, saves an ordinary boy named Nemo from the forces of destruction. Please don't tell me it's actually pronounced Nemo. It's like Nemo or something like that. Don't tell me you pronounce it Nemo. Oh boy. During the ensuing battle, Nemo summons the power of a hero and becomes a successor as well. However, Nemo's hero is a stranger that is unknown to history, and so an epic journey where the past and present collide begins. Okay. Kind of how does that? Well, they got a big name in there, at least. Not to knock everyone else. I think Toshiyuki I recognize. I feel like he's a pretty big name as well. Video game adaptation, action fantasy, and it looks like this. You guys know how I feel about shows that have this particular palette design and this particular tags and this particular plot line. This looks like it can go into the realms of generic very quickly. Like, very quickly. That's my main concern for the show right off the bat. I feel like, especially since it's a video game adaptation, it feels like it can go generic very quickly. So it is Live in Films as well working on this, but it's also Domerica, who is doing a bunch of stuff this season. Like, I guess they're a support studio, because, like, they don't really have anything they've worked on properly except Pokemon Generations, which was kind of like a joint thing. So, unless they've just suddenly bought out another studio, or they're just doing support work and getting named on a bunch of other shows, because we're watching all 3 of these this season. I don't quite know what else is going on, but I really do worry that this is going to be generic very quickly. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I would like to cut down my Monday schedule just a little bit, but yeah, that's my main concern with a show like this, especially since it's not getting that much hype. I've never played Seven Nights, or whatever this game is based. Like, I've never played this game, whatever it is. So I have no idea if this is, like, faithful to the actual story in the game, if it's like a continued plot line, if it's like a precursor plot line. I don't know if it's just entirely something made up, but who knows. But like I said, very concerned about the generic nature of it, but at the same time, it could be interesting. It is a fantasy-based show. Fantasies are always fun, but I'm not high expectations on this one. So, that's Mondays. Let's move on to Tuesdays. So, now on to Tuesday, and we have another 5 shows. This is getting kind of predictable now, isn't it? So this is Higehiro. After being rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway. Quite the catchy title, I think it's fair to say. So, Yoshida was swiftly rejected by his crush of 5 years. Feel your pain. On his way home after drinking his sorrows away, feel your pain, he saw a high school girl sitting on the streets. I'll let you do it with me, so let me stay. Don't even joke about something like that. Yeah, average response. And so the story of living with a high school girl, Sayu, began. The slice of life romance story between a runaway high school girl and a 26-year-old salaryman ensues. 26? Okay, I expected him to maybe be a little older than that. I expected him to be in his 30s almost. I don't know why. But whatever. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, because this is a romance show, right? It is. Drama, romance, slice of life. No comedy. Higehiro is its name, and I'm probably going to just refer to it as Higehiro from here on forth, because saying the full title is a pain. I don't even know if that full title will actually fit in a YouTube title now I'm looking at it. Now, I quite like the idea of it, because this is something we've seen before, right? There was a show a couple of years ago, maybe it was a little more recent, called After the Rain, I believe it was, where it was a high school track girl who injured herself and was working in like a family cafe or whatever. Developed a major crush on the manager, who's in like his 40s and smokes and everything. I mean, he still looked pretty good for 40, and the fact that he smoked like that, he still looked pretty good, but anime makes characters look good when they don't necessarily need to be. And that was a very interesting, if weird experience to watch. Because again, it's high school girl, 40-year-old guy with romantic intentions. It doesn't feel, it's just one of those things that doesn't feel, I was going to say normal, but I feel like that's a bit harsh. But it's just not what you expect, right? Now, 26-year-old salaryman in high school, that's not a terrible age gap, relatively speaking. Like, for example, whilst they weren't dating whilst one of them was in school, my parents have a very similar year age gap. So, it's not, the age gap itself isn't really an issue, it's just the fact that one's in high school. I'm curious where they end up going with this. So this is Project Number 9, who we have definitely watched stuff before in the past. They're doing Tomozaki this season. They're going to do the OVA, of course, as well. Other than that, I've watched some of their shows, but have not completed any other ones. So yeah, Tomozaki was the first show of theirs I'm actually going to complete, which is not a good sign, but considering how much I like Tomozaki, gives me hope for this one. Because this looks like it's going to be very, very interesting. And it looks like, judging by the image here, if we just pull that up, here's our main guy, here's, I assume, the high schooler. Looks like maybe a high school friend, or maybe this is the high schooler, and this is like, I don't know. Looks like we have a bigger cast as well of characters that we're going to be exploring with as well. So I'm kind of curious as to the direction they go with this. Are they going to go the After the Rain direction? What are they going to do? I'm kind of curious. Because it might be a case of what I would expect to happen in a show like this. The guy's like, no, I'm not going to take you seriously. You're a kid. What? No, I'm not going to. And then over the course of spending more and more time, might be thinking, wait, do I really think of her in this way? He might develop a new crush. He might develop a crush on her. He might forget about it. He might just be enjoying the life. He might view her as a little sister. Might view her as almost like a daughter, although that'd be a very weird daughter to have. You'd have to have a kid when you were like 10, which I don't think is possible. Actually, no, it probably is possible. Just extremely rare. So I'm intrigued by this, because it is a romance show. I enjoy romance shows. And this is an interesting concept that I'm kind of curious to see where we go with it. There's a lot of tags there, and I feel like some of them are spoilers, so I'm not going to look too much more into them. But color me intrigued for this one, I think is the way to put it. Next up, I forgot about this one, ODDTAXI. The taxi driver, Odakawa, lives a very mundane life. He has no family, doesn't really hang out with others, and he's an oddball who is narrow-minded and doesn't talk much. The only people who can call his friends are his doctor, Goriki, and his classmate from high school, Kakebada. All of his patrons seem to be slightly odd themselves. The college student who wants the world to notice him online, Kabasawa, relate. A nurse with secrets named Shirakawa. A comedy duo that just can't catch a break named the Homo Sapiens. Nice. A local hoodlum named Dobu. An idol group that's just starting out named Mystery Kiss. All these mundane conversations somehow eventually lead to a girl who's gone missing. Okay, so there is an eventual main plot to this, I'm guessing. This feels like it could be a very, very episodic anime. Like, don't you get the idea? Like, a taxi-based anime? It feels like it could have very much an episodic nature of, like, we take, like, split each episode into 2 parts, and we have a client in each part as we drive them to their destination and have a conversation in the taxi. That's what this kind of feels like. But the fact that there's a girl who's gone missing, and an overall greater plot narrative, and the fact it's tagged as a drama mystery, color me intrigued. I mean, it's a very interesting cast. Let's just put it that way. I guess this is our idol group. These are some police. Yeah, quite the interesting cast, I think it's fair to say. This is by Olm and Pix. Olm has done a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. A lot of Pokemon stuff. Have I actually ever watched any of their stuff? Just King's Raid. So, unfortunately, not the greatest experience with Olm. And Pix, this is their first ever title. So, studio-wise, I'm not blown away immediately. But this is a completely original work with a manga adaptation that I guess is starting alongside it. Yes, started just alongside it. Okay, so work on the anime probably started before work on the manga. I'm interested. I want to see how deep this mystery goes, because if it actually is like a true proper mystery throughout the entire season, I'll be very invested. But I want them to sow the seeds of that very early, because if they don't, it could get quite boring quickly, if you know what I mean. So again, it depends on the cast. It depends on our main character. I guess we'll see what ends up happening. I don't initially recognize Natsuki. I think I recognize in something. I just don't remember what. Yeah, again, I'm intrigued about this one, just to see where the mystery aspect goes. That's what's keeping me in here. Like, it's a fun concept, and I quite like it, but I want to know where the mystery ends up going to see if they develop that properly or if they don't. So, next up, Mars Red. Okay, so this is the next show that will premiere. So Funimation got 2 shows early this season. They might be announcing more soon as well. So Moriarty the Patriot, as we just discussed, and now Mars Red. So this is coming out on Tuesday. So Tuesday the 30th, right? Yeah, 30th. So Funimation will be getting this one early, and therefore will be here on Tuesday already. This takes place in 1923, and vampires have existed for quite a while. Vampire story. But now the number of vampires is increasing, and a mysterious artificial blood source called Askra has appeared. I was going to say Ascara. The Japanese government in turn creates Code Zero, a unit within the army tasked with taking down the vampiric forces. What better way to track vampires than by using vampires? Okay, they're using vampires to hunt vampires, makes sense. Created by Lieutenant General Nakajima, this unit has historically been in the business of information war, but has been reassigned to solve the vampire crisis. It's up to Code Zero and the S-Class vampire Deflot to investigate the increase and put a stop to it before society crumbles. Okay, vampire story, hunting vampires. I guess we're on the side of the vampire hunters. We're not following the vampires in their survival, we're following the vampire hunters in doing this. Okay. Looks interesting. Looks kind of interesting. Vampires are fun. I enjoy vampire stories. Nothing else immediately springs to mind. This is by Signal MD, who we've seen earlier in the form of Dragon Ghost House Hunting. Again, I haven't watched anything from them, so again, this is a complete mystery. I'm not sure what to expect. I quite like the designs. I like this uniform design. I'm curious about you. You're already a very curious character. I wonder if this is going to be very combat oriented, if it's going to be very mystery detective oriented. It says sci-fi, so I'm guessing vampires are supernatural. So where's the sci-fi aspect of this? In the technology they're using to hunt vampires in 1923? I guess that's where the sci-fi element comes in, because I wouldn't consider just a vampire story in of itself sci-fi. Looks like we're using melee weapons, no guns, so who knows? I'm kind of curious where sci-fi slots into that. I see a tram, but Japan had trams in the 20s, didn't they? Right? I'd have thought Japan has trams by the 20s, but maybe they don't. Anyway, looks interesting. I mean, we got vampires, and that seems to be the main selling point. People seem to be somewhat excited for this, so we'll give it a go, but not blown away immediately by the concept. Let's just put it that way. Next up, number 4 or 5, To Your Eternity. A lonely boy wandering the Arctic ranges of North America meets a wolf, and the two become fast friends, depending on each other to survive the harsh environment. But the boy has history, and the wolf is more than meets the eye as well. Okay, this looks interesting, and is incredibly hyped. Like, holy cow. That is way more hype than most series end up being. It's a 20-episoder as well. This is a multi-core. Interesting is 20. Why is it 20? If it's based on a manga, is the manga ending? No. So why only 20 episodes? They must be confident in the way they're going to pace it then, if they don't want to put an extra 4 episodes of filler in. Kind of me intrigued on that one. We're not starting this one for a while yet. It's going to be quite late in, but yeah, I'm very, very intrigued by this. To you, the immortal synonyms. I'm very interested. I don't want to look at those tag sections down below because I'm worried that there might be some. I'm worried there might be some spoilers there. But yeah, I mean, this is by Studio Brainspace. We've watched something from them before, right? Yeah, they did Inspector. Okay. And also School Babysitters. And the original My Team Romcom and Spice and Wolf Season 2. Okay. So, I'm hoping this is a very pretty anime. Because Arctic regions of North America, a wolf fantasy story. Looks like we've got some other characters here we're going to be meeting along the way. This should be a pretty anime, and I'm hoping it's a pretty anime. I'm curious what direction they want to go with this. And again, adventure, drama, fantasy, psychological, supernatural. Okay. Yeah, I have a great many questions of this. I'm excited because of the anticipation of it. Like, very little information, curious tags, extremely popular right from the off. Color me very intrigued on this one. Like, very intrigued. I'm expecting something, and that's bad, right? Because I don't want to go in with too high expectations. But I'm very curious as to what direction we're going with this, especially since it's 20 episodes. That gives me much more confidence in the pacing of it, since they know they need more than a basic 12 to get a full story, but they also know they don't need a full 24 to tell their story. So that's confident. That's a confident move to not go for a standard core length. Or they just have production issues and decide we can't do a full 24, so we'll just cut it down a little bit to save us some time. that could be the option as well. But yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting in this one. And then finally, the last show on the Tuesday. This is KOIKIMO. Once you fall for someone, you can't stop the love. Very true. Strange encounter spurs the meeting of Amakusa Ryo, a high-spec businessman who's loose with women, and his high school sister's best friend, Arima Ichika. Are we having another high school... Wow, okay, apparently this is the trend now. From there, he falls madly in love. On the one hand, he approaches her with almost too straightforward methods, while she responds simply disgusted, insulting him without hesitation. And he takes it as her way of showing love, okay. Rom-com about a twisted elite employee and a normal otaku high school girl. Okay, this looks like it's going to go in a completely different direction from Higehiro. This looks like it's going in a completely different direction. This is going the comedy route, and the other one seems to be maybe going a bit more of a serious route with it. So, similar concepts, which is just weird. Also, going after your sister's best friend? That sounds like a plot out of a hentai or a porno. Let's be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't know. Again, Hanazawa, Junya Enoki, I believe I recognize as well. Do I recognize you? It's hard for me to recognize certain names. So this is by Studio Nomad. I recognize that name. What have I watched from you? Oh, you did Dropkick on My Devil. That's right. I remember now. And was that the only thing I ever watched from you? Yes, it was. Okay. So yeah, I remember them from Dropkick. Not, yeah, again, age gap. What a surprise. Yeah, elite businessman, blondes. Yeah, I mean, this looks like this is the comedy version of Higehiro. I'm sure Higehiro is going to have its funny moments as well, but I feel like that's trying to tell a bit more of a serious story. This one's trying to play it for laughs, maybe. I don't know. This could be played very differently. And again, when you're saying straightforward methods, she responds disgusted, insulting him, and then he doesn't back down, he continues and presses on. There's a risk here that this just could be kind of tasteless. There's a risk for a Western audience. I don't know what Japan's like when it comes to this type of thing, but there's a chance this might come across poorly. And that's mainly my concern with it, because, again, it's a romance show, but I don't know how serious they're going to take the romance, if they're just playing it for laughs. I'm concerned, I think is fair to say. I'm just concerned as to what direction they might take it. I don't think they will take it all that way, but it might just... the comedy might fall flat because it becomes too creepy, in a sense, if you get what I mean. So that's my main concern with it, but we'll see if that's actually realised. So that's Tuesday down. We're only 2 days in of 7 days. This isn't crazy. It's just crazy. So let's get on to Wednesday. Alright, on to Wednesday, and thankfully this is a smaller day. The midweek tends to be a smaller day in terms of anime, because anime normally go up at like 11 p.m. midnight in Japanese time, or even later, and no one's really staying up to watch a big show that late, because you alienate a lot of your viewer base, like your school fan base. Like they've got to wake up for school. They're not going to stay up all late watching anime for the most part. Your actual like older people who are working, they've got to get to work, so they're not going to be up late. So that's why most shows end up on the weekend. So thankfully we get a bit of an easier day today. So first up is Slime Diaries. Dear Diary, I got reincarnated as a slime. So yeah, if you haven't seen That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 1, I think Season 1 is basically mandatory before you can get into this. If you want to understand certain things as to who the characters are, why they are the way they are, because just judging by the designs, like you can clearly see that the we've got the Kiji in here in their current forms. This looks like it's going to be... this might be pre-season 2. I think it's likely to be pre-season 2. It might be in between the two of them. I mean, we can see the Drya back in there. So, there's Kabu looking through the window. I just noticed that. So I think this is probably going to take place after Season 1. And it's basically a stopgap in between seasons, because Reincarnated Slime Season 1 is just... Season 2, Part 1 is just wrapping up. And then we'll have Part 2 in the summer season. So in the spring season, we get this cuter art style by the looks of things. And it's just going to be slice-of-life moments based around the Slime series, and that's all that really needs to be. I don't need to expect much more than that. Studio 8-Bit, who did the actual series as well, it seems to be a cuter art style, so that's going to be kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy this because I enjoy Slime. This is a nice, easy way to get some Slime fix whilst waiting for the next part of the season. I don't really have much more to say than that, other than yay, more Slime content. Really, that's all there is to do. So, final show of the day. The Saint's magic power is omnipotent, or omnipotent, however you say it. So, Sei, a 20-year-old office worker, is whisked away to a whole new world. Isekai! Unfortunately for Sei, the ritual that summoned her, meant to produce a saint who would banish dark magic, brought 2 people over instead of 1. And everyone prefers the second girl over Sei? Interesting. This is just fine by Sei, who leaves the royal palace to set up shop making potions and cosmetics with her newfound magic. Okay, so she was meant to be the saint, but they brought a second girl over and she's going to be the saint instead, but she actually has the power, I guess? Business is booming and this might not be such a bad life after all, as long as her supposed sainthood doesn't come back to haunt her. So yeah, powerful girl, reincarnated into a world, isekai obviously, reverse harem, eh? Interesting. Yui Shikara, I recognize that name, I just can't remember what from. Yeah, powerful magic abilities, but the sainthood is going to be something that is going to be sought after by, I guess, evil powers, maybe even the same place that summoned her after they realize she has the powers. I wonder what happened to the second girl. Does she actually have the powers, or was she the mistake instead? Like, she's definitely the more charismatic of the ones, but doesn't actually have the power that Sei has. Maybe that's the way they're going with it. I don't know. But this is by Studio Dimedia? Is that how you say them? They did Domestic Girlfriend and Beatless, and so they've done a bunch of works that I've seen. They did the Cancol movie, and as well as the series, so I am familiar with their work. So I'm not overly concerned about the visuals of it, or the animation. Fantasy romance slice of life. I think the romance is not the actual main focus of this series, but there is going to be some romance aspect in the form of reverse harem, apparently. Kind of curious to see where that ends up going, if it does end up going that way at all. I see a bunch of male cast members that immediately might be looking for that, so interested. It's another isekai. I mean, I like my isekais. A powerful girl with strong magic opens up a shop, because that's what you do in isekai world now, is you open up a shop. I swear, like, every isekai series now has them opening up a shop. I would not be surprised if in Sama Spider So What, eventually they open a shop for some reason. I would not be surprised at this point, because every isekai in the world is damn well doing it now. So, we'll see. But, interesting idea. I quite like the visuals of this. I like her design. I like her flowing little dress there. Kind of a basic look, but then again, this is a very far shot, so it doesn't need to be too well defined, I suppose. Yeah. Color me intrigued. It's another isekai series. I'm gonna have some fun, I guess. And it's only the second show of the day, and that's it for the day. So even if I'm not thrilled by it, I don't need to drop it because of time. So I can give it time to see if it hooks me. If it doesn't, then I can just drop it and have some more time to deal with other shows that may get added on later. But for now, I'm interested. So yeah, now we move on to the Thursday shows. Alright, now we're on to the Thursday shows. We've got 4 shows in the lineup today. So this is Full Dive. This Ultimate Next Gen Full Dive RPG is even shittier than real life. Nice, long, catchy title. The story follows a dull high school student named Hiroyuki. When he is tricked into joining a full dive, for the immersive VR, we know what full dives are by now, in a role-playing game. The game, Kiwami Quest, literally Ultimate Quest, is promoted as more real than reality. I mean, that's not physically possible. With mind-blowing graphics, impressive NPC behavior, and even the scent of foliage and the sensation of wind blowing against your skin. Unfortunately, the game is already a virtual ghost town, after being flooded with player complaints that the game is a little too realistic for its own good. Its quests are nearly impossible to clear, since players have to be as physically fit to complete them as they would be in real life. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Players feel actual pain when they get hit, even bigger a problem, and puncture wounds take days to heal. Jesus, what happens if you die in this game then? What happens if you actually die in this game? I'm really concerned now. The only reward is the mere sense of accomplishment. Yeah, that's not enough for people to be engaged. It's the complete opposite of casual pick up and play a game, but Hiro vows to beat this most realistic and most stressful game ever. Why? Why would he want to do that? I'm struggling to see a motivation for our main character right off the bat, but I'm sure we'll get introduced to one later. Yeah, I mean, that's a design. Mysterious figure in the back, controlling it all. Yeah, no, I don't see how... Yeah, I'm not immediately impressed, I think I'll put it that way. It's doing okay. So this is by Studio NG, who I've watched some stuff from before, I believe. Yep, Uzaki. And Kemomichi. I still haven't got that marked for some reason, but I did start that, and I was actually enjoying it for the couple of episodes I watched of it. I need to go back and finish that eventually. They're also doing the second season of Kankol, apparently. Interesting. That's next year. Okay. Yeah, Kankol 2. Yeah, I'm not feeling it right off the bat. I mean, where's the motivation to keep going? I'm sure there is a motivation. It's not immediately obvious why our character would want to do that. I guess we'll find out in the show, but I suppose it's good that they don't mention it in the synopsis because they don't spoil it, I suppose. But I'm not immediately intrigued. I'm getting SAO vibes, very much so, just because, oh, you take damage, or like you die in the game, you die for real, or like take damage, you take damage for real. I don't know how an MMO that physically hurts you. Like, are they saying puncture wounds take days to heal? Like, your character doesn't heal instantly, you have to wait for your character to heal over the course of days? Or are they saying you're physically taking puncture wounds as well in real life? Because if you're taking puncture wounds in real life, there's no way this game would ever have been sold. Like, no standards agency would have ever allowed that, right? But I don't think they're saying puncture wounds in real life. I don't think so. Yeah, I just don't see much motivation behind this at all right now. Both from, in terms of the character's perspective and also my own perspective. So this might be a very early drop. I guess we'll see what the first episode like. Then again, I was kind of like that with Million Lives. And I was like, I'm just going to drop this. But then Million Lives actually came around. I was like, oh shit, actually I kind of enjoy this to a weird extent. So maybe this will capture that same feeling. I guess we'll see. But not expecting much. I'm going in below expectations on this one. So next up is Super Cup. Okay, I'm actually really excited for this one. Just because it's chill. And you know me, I love my chill shows, and this looks like it's going to be my chill show of the season, or one of, actually. There's multiple. So the story centers on Koguma, or Koguma, I'm not sure how you say your name, a high school girl in Yamanashi. She has no parents, friends, or hobbies, and her daily life is empty. One day, Koguma gets a used Honda Super Cub motorcycle, which is, I guess, one of these here. This is her first time going to a school on a motorcycle. Running out of gas and hitting detours became a small source of adventure in Koguma's life. She's satisfied with this strange transformation, but her classmate Reiko ends up talking to her about how she also goes to school by motorcycle. Finds a friend. Once Super Cub begins to open up a lonely girl's world, introducing her to a new everyday life and friendship. I'm loving this. Already, I'm loving this, because it's Eurocamp vibes, but more focused on the biking side of things. That is more of Rin's character. This seems to be more focused on the actual biking aspect of it, and I'm intrigued by this. It looks like it's just going to be super comfy and just chill and just fun. Like, that's what it feels like. And it's another brilliant excuse to just look at backgrounds and scenic images of Japan. This really is just an excuse to look at Japan's landscape. So, I'm very interested in this. I think I'm going to enjoy this a lot, just as my nice chill Thursday show. Depending on who picks it up and when it airs and stuff like that, I might start off my day with this or end my day with this, depending on whether I want to have a nice relaxing start to the day like I did with Eurocamp this season, or if I want to have a nice relaxing end to the day to save my voice and things like that. So this is Studio Kai, and they did Uma Musume. Well, they're doing season 2 of it at least. So I haven't actually watched any of their previous shows. This is my first experience with them. Interesting series. So I guess we'll see what their animation's like. I'm not expecting a huge amount in terms of the motorcycle animation and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind if they use CG for the motorcycles in certain shots. That makes perfect sense. I hope the background art is on point. This seems like a show where the background art is going to be quite important. It also seems like a show where character interaction is going to be very important. It looks like we've got a main trio of girls that will be hanging out. And, yeah, this just looks chill. This looks like it's going to be a very, very chill show. Just a nice, chill slice of life, riding around on the motorcycle, exploring the scenery. Just seems chill and fun, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Okay, next up. Osamake, rom-com where the childhood friend won't lose. My childhood friend Shida Kuraha seems to have feelings for me. She lives next door and is small and cute. With an outgoing character, she's the caring One-san type, this being one of her greatest strengths. But I already have my first love, the beautiful idol of school and the award-winning author, high school girl Kachi Shirokusa. So once again, main guy can never see the childhood friend that is obviously... Well, he recognizes that childhood friend is obviously in love, but has his eyes set on someone else. Kind of standard romance story. Thinking about it rationally, I should have no chances with her, but whilst walking home from school, she only talks to me with a smile even. I might actually have a chance, don't you think? Well, that is entirely dependent on you, but we'll see. Also, I thought, but then I heard that Shirokusa already has a boyfriend, and my life took a turn for the worse. Worse. I don't know what to say worse. I want to die. Why is it not me, even though she was my first? I mean, calm down, dude. You're in high school. But then again, yeah, I mean, that always happens. At least I assume, yeah, high school. Walking home from school. But my first love. As I was trying to spend desperation, Kuraha whispered, "If it's that tough for you, then how about we get revenge? The best revenge ever, that is." Okay, so this is going to be a childhood friend using the fact that he got dumped and is going to make them seem like the most lovey-dovey couple in front of Shirokusa to make her envious. Now, how much do you want to bet that the Shirokusa having a boyfriend, since I heard, is a rumor? Because every goddamn popular girl always have a rumor that they're dating so-and-so, just because they are spent 5 minutes together in a hall one day. That's the rumor mill. The rumor mill always says the popular girl, she's popular and pretty, therefore she has to have a boyfriend. That's just the rules. Like, I'm willing to bet she probably doesn't have a boyfriend. I'm willing to bet she probably doesn't. I mean, there is a guy in the background here, if this is the idol. Well, idol, author, whatever. Probably isn't a boyfriend. Might even be a sibling at this point. Who knows? I think this is a childhood friend here, and this is younger sister, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if we have an emoto in this. Yeah, it'd be nice for the childhood friend to actually win. I mean, that would be great. I wouldn't mind that at all. What is this? But yeah, this is by Dogakobo, so I have no complaints about the actual animation and quality at all. I love Dogakobo shows. Like, pretty much every season I want a Dogakobo show. So we had Asteroid Love in winter, we had Sing Yesterday for Me in spring, the same for Diaries of a Day in the Breakwater, but that kind of transitioned into the summer season thanks to COVID. We then had Princess Demon Castle for the fall. We didn't get one for winter, unfortunately. So we got one for spring, though, and I'm very excited. This looks like it could be fun. It's comedy romance. Okay, I think that character is the little sister, and it looks like it might be harem-esque, but it's a long way from starting. It's one of the later shows to start. But, Inori Minase, as Kuraha, are you who I think you are? You're Hestia, and you're Rem. Yes, you are who I think you are. Yeah, you are. Okay. Well, best girl might finally get some love for once. Kirito. Nice to see you. My mood suddenly changed, if you couldn't tell. Okay, Kirito. No offense to Matsuoka. Like, he's a talented VA. But he gets typecast a lot as the male lead that is indecisive, doesn't take action, is very much spineless. And that concerns me because he gets typecast as that quite often. And I don't want the MC to be spineless. I want this MC to actually be an MC. Like, I know he's not the focus, Childhood Friend is the focus. And I honestly hope that the synopsis is written from his perspective, but the story follows her and her perspective of this whole event. That's what I really want this series to be, because this would be actually interesting if we followed her perspective. Because I can already tell this MC probably isn't going to be the greatest of romance MCs I've ever seen. Which is going to be a shame, because otherwise I would have rated this super highly already. I think that is the Emoto. But yeah. It's crazy how one VA can suddenly make me doubt everything I thought about this show. I hope that's not the case. I hope he hasn't been typecast for this, but I guess we'll see. It's Doga Kobo. I'll have faith in the show. I have faith in what they pick up. Anyway, last one, and probably the most likely drop of the day. Well, yeah, more likely than Full Dive. This is... I think that's meant to be Cestvs, but for some reason that's a V. I think this is meant to be Cestvs, the Roman fighter, but for some reason this is a V. I have no idea if that was an error in entry or if that actually is the show's name, is Cestvs. So, 54 AD. Cestvs, a young boy orphaned by the Roman Empire and made a slave, is placed into a training school for pugilists. It is here that he begins his journey to defy fate and fight for his own freedom. So yeah. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I have my vengeance in this life or the next. Vibes. Oh boy. Oh boy. So yeah, the drop becomes more likely. Hang on. We must give it a chance. Full CG does not mean bad. We're not going to say that a full CG anime is bad. Look at Land of the Lustrous. Bandai Namco Pictures. What is your experience? Okay. 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 I have a mild amount of faith. But is it because they're a producer on this? No, they're actually the studio behind Gintama. Okay. Even this? Yeah, the studio behind... Gintama wasn't full CGI, was it? No. Okay, that makes this even more confusing. If they've worked on Gintama, why have they gone full CG for this? Like, honestly, why have they gone full CG for this? Like, do they not care about it? Oh, this looks like an older production. Oh yeah, this started in the 90s. Wow. This is a much older adaptation, so we've been waiting 12 years for this adaptation, apparently. Why now? Why now? Like, I always find it weird how older series suddenly get anime adaptations like 12 years after they've finished. Why now, of all times, to have this adapted? And if it is Bandai Namco, why go full CGI? Anyone who's watched Gintama will have to let me know if they did use any CGI in those series, or if it was noticeable at all, and the overall quality of it, because... Same studio, but they're doing full CGI instead. I'm not thrilled. The designs... I have this on the exact same zoom level as every other one. This is just a very small thumbnail. It's just that small of a thumbnail. Yeah, I'm not excited. I'm really not. I think this is very likely to be a drop. We might not even get a full first episode out. I don't know. I'm not feeling it, if you can believe me on that one. We'll see, I guess. But I'm really not... Yeah, I've got nothing here that I'm attached to, if you get it. So, as much as I like the Roman period, I don't know if this is going to be for me. This seems like a very, very likely drop. That's what I'm getting from this. So anyway, that's the Thursday shows. Now we move on to Friday. Moving on to Fridays, and this is actually sequel day, although we are going to start off with the non-sequels, it seems. So this is Fairy Ranmaru. Set in a world of cruelty and heartbreak, Fairy Ranmaru, follows 5 young men who work at the mysterious Bar F, and who offer to heal the hearts of their clients, wiping away their tears and causing smiles to bloom like flowers. They take no payment, aside from stealing their clients' hearts. So, this does not look like the type of show I would necessarily be very interested in. This doesn't seem like my type of show. It's a Maho Shoujo show, apparently. This really does not seem like my type of show. I'm giving it a chance anyway, just because you never know. This is by Studio Comet, who I've not watched anything from before. Nope, nothing. They've been around for a long time, though. They've been around for a long time. Holy cow. I'm surprised I haven't seen it. Did they do a Formula 1 show? I'm sorry, I got distracted, but... He's into karting with the aim of getting into... That is a Formula 1 car. That's like a 2000... Yeah, that's a 2000... Okay. It's more about karting than I think Formula 1, but I assume that's... Interesting. Interesting. I've got to remember this. I've got to check this out sometimes just to see what it's like, because it's actually decently rated. It's a long-running show. And it might focus on some aspect of Formula 1, because that absolutely is a Formula 1 car. That is just a color-shifted version of a Formula 1 car from 2005, 2006. I guess it'd be 2000... Well, it depends when this poster was created. But anyway, I got distracted, sorry. That just caught me off guard. I didn't expect to see a Formula 1 show. Yeah, by that studio. Anyway, I don't think it's Formula 1, it's karting, but still. And if it's Japan, he'll probably be going to like Super Formula or something, if Super Formula existed back in 2005. Anyway, yeah, this doesn't seem like my type of show. I'm going to give it an honest go, though, just to see, because I thought Mr. Love Queen's Choice wasn't going to be my type of show. And I loved it and had a lot of support on it, so we kept going. So we'll see if this is the case as well. See what we think of it, and then go from there, I suppose. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about it. It just seems like not my demographic, let's just put it that way. So, anyway, next up, Bakuten. Again, a show that I don't think is my demographic, but we'll see. So the anime is set in Miyagi Prefecture's Iwanuma City and centers on a high school rhythmic gymnastics team. So rhythmic gymnastics, sport anime. The anime follows Shotaro Futaba, who is fascinated by gymnastics after seeing in his 3rd year in middle school and joins the rhythmic gymnastics team of his new high school, Soshukan High School, nicknamed Ao High. Because that makes sense. I'm sure there's a kanji meaning or something, but that does not seem to make sense to me. He makes a friend with his schoolmate Ryoya Misato, who earned fame as a gymnast. Who earned his fame as a gymnast during middle school is how I think you meant to say that sentence, but whatever. Yeah, not my type of... Hey, Daisuke. Not my type of show, I don't think, normally. Probably not my demographic either. But I'm interested to see where they go with this. I guess this is a rival school, not our main school, or it could be a separate year. Maybe these are the seniors, these are the freshmen, maybe. So yeah, it's a sports show. It's an original with an adaptation coming at the same time. So yeah, the manga released first to get some hype building, and then this is going here now. This is by Studio Zex, who I think I've seen recently. Unfortunately, they got given Shadowverse. But Kasesana Morning Glories was fantastic. Frame Mom's Girl was actually, I think, weird and interesting in its own way. I think that's all I've watched from them. I haven't watched any of their earlier stuff. Oh no, I have. Say I Love You. I enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, I'm not too concerned by the studio. This looks quite good. But that post looks really quite nice, I must admit. Whether the actual show captures that or not, whether these are CG, I don't know. But it looks interesting. I'm willing to give it a go, even if it's not my main demographic or my main interest necessarily. But we'll see what it's like. I'm not going to make judgments just because it's the way it is. We'll see what ends up happening as we get into it. So yeah, next up, we move on to the sequel. So this is the second season of How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, which is Omega, right? That's the Omega symbol, I believe. I think it is, probably. Did not expect this. Did not expect this to ever get a season 2. At all. Like, that genuinely surprises me that this got a second season. So, seeing Sharon, everyone back again. This is a very ecchi show. Very ecchi show. And, that's an understatement. I mean, just look at Sharon's design. Like, you can tell where it's going, can't you? Like, complete opposites as well. And by the... Yeah. There is kind of a reason for that, kind of. Oh, right, Sylvie. Oh, right. Oh, right, Ellie. Oh, yeah. Memories of Season 1 are flooding into my brain right now, and my god, I forgot this show. Unsurprisingly, very popular. Yeah, it's just going to be more of Season 1. Unfortunately, you can't see my Season 1 reactions on the channel because I watched this before I did the channel. This came out in 2018. So, yeah, I have not got reactions of this for you to see, unfortunately. This is a completely different studio doing it, though. It's a combination of Tezuka and Okuruto. Tezuka did do Adachi Shimamura last season. I very much enjoyed that. They also did the original quintessential quintuplets and Dororo. Dororo is still a show I've been meaning to check out eventually. And yeah, Okuro helped out on the Hidden Dungeon. That's about the only thing I've got experience with them from. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if they have any major shifts in the design style, because that often happens when you have a different studio take over. There's certain differences in designs that you might notice. Like, I know people said that originally with Quintessential Quintuplets when that got its second season, and now getting its third season. But I wonder if it's going to be noticeable here at all for me or not. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see as time goes on, but... Oh man, I forgot this show existed. I've really forgotten so much about this show. Maybe I need to watch it before it starts. Don't know if I have time, though. We'll see. And then finally, next season, the next sequel for the season, Zombieland Saga Season 2, or Zombieland Saga Revenge. Yeah, sequel to Zombieland Saga. Zombieland Saga was a huge surprise, and goddamn, Mamoru Miyano as Kotaro is iconic. Like, I love him. His performance as Kotaro is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And, of course, legendary Yamada Taides. I wonder if we're going to explore more of Yamada at all this season. Studio Mappa, look at what they've done with Jujutsu Kaisen recently. I'm hoping that at least some of that has transferred over to this. We'll see if it actually is or not. But what is Oiran? Oh, Courtesan. Okay, makes sense. I don't think there's any new characters in this. No, but they are performing in a stadium, like a football stadium. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just excited for more of this because the first season was so different. Just so different, and I loved it so much. I'm hoping it can maintain that. I really like... Saki is one of my favorite characters of the series. If it wasn't for Kotaro, I think she'd be my favorite, but Kotaro is my favorite. Just... nice bird. Oh my god. And just the happy smile as he pulls up like the shoe polish like thing. So many iconic moments from this show. So many iconic moments. I'm so happy to be back into this. So happy. So no chance of this being dropped whatsoever. So at least Friday is going to be a good day for sure for me. So I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. But that wraps up Friday. Now let's move on to the weekend with Saturday. Alright, moving on to the Saturday shows. We've got another 5 shows today. Not quite as busy as it maybe could have been. You'll see quite where the busyness enters. But starting off here, we have Burning Kabaddi. Kabaddi being a sport, apparently. I have no knowledge of what the sport of Kabaddi looks like. So the story centers on first-year high school student Tatsuya Uegoshi, former ace soccer player who dislikes sports. So very talented at soccer, but grew to hate the game, I guess, and maybe therefore by extension all sports. He gets invited to join. He gets invited to join a team for the contact sport Kabaddi. Oh my god, my voice is going. This is what happens when you talk for an hour and 20 minutes straight with no breaks. He scoffs at the idea at first, becomes interested after watching a Kabaddi practice. I have no reference to what Kabaddi is. I have no idea what the sport is like. It's a contact sport, apparently. But this is going to be another sports anime. Animated by Demerica and TMS. So Demerica have done... they're working on World's End with You as well, but otherwise it's just Pokemon Generations. Then TMS has done a lot of stuff, like they're doing Fruits Baskets, Dr. Stone. Like, this is an established studio, TMS, so I'm not concerned if they're involved with this. Weird poster. But yeah, spoilers. Yeah, it's a sports anime, therefore I have low expectations as per usual. Doesn't look to be full CG, but I assume it's going to have some CG usage. I'm hoping it gives a very good depiction of the sport of Kabaddi, because I bet you a lot of people do not know what this sport is. Like, especially in the West. I bet a lot of Westerners do not know what the sport of Kabaddi is. I don't know if Japan's going to be very knowledgeable about the sport. I don't even know where the sport originates from. I'm going to guess probably Asia. Let's say Kabaddi. Maybe sounds Indian, potentially. If I had to guess. Maybe India, Pakistan, somewhere around that area. I'm going to guess that's probably where it originated from. But I have no reference for it. It looks like it could be interesting. There's the visual of it. Interesting cast of characters. So, again, take your glasses off. It's a contact sport. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend contacts. Looks like it could be interesting. I hope it gives an honest look into the sport of Kabaddi, because I feel like that could be quite interesting if they actually did that. So, here's hoping, but it is a sports anime, so I always have low expectations going in. Next up, Yakanara Mug Cup Mo, or Let's Make a Mug 2, I think is the actual name we'll end up going with, since that'll be the English name, probably used by Crunchyroll, Funimation, whoever picks this up. So the city of Taijimi, located in the southern part of Gifu Prefecture, Japan, is famous for Mino earthenware. The city is dotted with historical pottery producers and ceramic art museums. It has facilities where you can try your hand at making pottery, and many restaurants that serve food on Minoware dishes. The story begins when a high school girl moves to a shopping street in Taijimi. Many encounters await her: friends, townfolk, ceramic art, etc. What will she discover in a town famous for ceramic? This seems like another one of those cute girls doing cute things shows, which is what it's appropriately tagged at. This looks like it could be quite a chill show, relatively speaking. It looks like it could be somewhat... It's another one of those hobby type shows. And this is something that I, again, always look for in anime, like one a season, to have a hobby show. And so dealing with ceramics and maybe dealing with like what looks like a pottery wheel there. Yeah, that's a pottery wheel. I have an interest in this. I think in school, maybe once, maybe twice, we had the chance to a chance at pottery. I kind of enjoyed it, but it never followed up from there. There was never any more opportunity to really go into it. But this looks like it could be kind of fun, and it looks like it could be something that we learn about as well. So I'm excited for this, just because it looks like it's going to be a chill hobby show, and I like those. So this is by Nippon Animation, who... Have I actually watched anything from you? It doesn't look like I have. Nope, first experience with Nippon Animation, so I'm not going in with super high expectations. The designs look pretty nice, but it just looks like a chill hobby show, and as you know, I like my chill hobby shows, so this will be a nice, relaxing Saturday show, and almost certainly a keeper on the list, unless something terrible happens to it, but I don't think it will, so I'm excited. Next up, I've put this down, but I'm not quite sure if I will keep it. So this is Yuuki Yuuna. What's the actual name? It doesn't have an English translation. But it's year 300 of the Divine Era. The world inside the Shinju where all heroes and Mikos were summoned from all ages during the crisis of the Shinju. They gathered in Sanshu Middle School Hero Club and have transformed into a large family with a total of 27 members. Club president Inabozaki Fu, who gathered these powerful friends together, announced the development of the long-awaited Hero Club Udon. Now, this is very much a thing that seems to have its own, like, universe, and Yuuki Yuuna is a hero stuff. So I don't know if I can necessarily watch this and get into it without knowledge of the franchise, as it were. So I need your guys' help on this one. It's a TV short, so it's not a big deal if I keep it or lose it, either way. I feel like knowing about Yuuki Yuuna and the entire series is probably going to do me good in the long run, so maybe I'll hold off on this one and just keep this in the back of my mind as maybe something to watch if I ever get into the main series. But I guess we'll see. I just put it on the list because I was like, this looks interesting. It looks like it could be just a chill little fun show. And it doesn't look like I absolutely must know the source material, but it feels like I probably should at this point. I don't know, I need your input on this one, but I've got it on the list just in case. It also depends on who actually picks this up. There might not be a main studio who picks a show like this up, so I guess we'll see in the future. Next up, The World Ends With You, the animation. I feel like people are relatively hyped about this one, although that's actually lower than I expected. So Neku awakens in the middle of Shibuya's bustling scramble crossing with no memory of how he got there. Little does he know he's been transported to an alternate plane of existence known as the Underground. Now an unwilling participant in the mysterious Reaper's game, Neku must partner up with a girl named Shiki in order to survive. Together they complete missions and defeat monsters known as Noise, as they gradually uncover the true nature of this twisted game. There's only one way to stay alive in Shibuya: trust your partner. Will they survive the Reaper's game? So I'm getting Mirai Nikki vibes, just with a much more vibrant look to it. Like, very vibrant. You can tell this is based off a video game just by the designs alone. My boy Kenjiro Suda is here though, so yes, we're watching this. Like, I'm giving it a chance just because I want to see Kenjiro's character, because I like his design as well. Like, that's this character here in the back. Kenjiro Suda looking this hot as an anime character. I mean, you've got me. You've got me. If you're new to the channel and you've got to this point, I have a serious crush on Kenjiro Suda. His voice could take me, quite simply. I love him. I love his voice. In everything I've heard his voice in, I've loved him. Everything. Like, Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen. The name of the detective from Eden Vader. I forget his name already. What was the name of the greatest detective? I've forgotten his name. That's terrible. But his voice. His voice. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, it feels like a Mirai Nikki sort. It feels like Akiba Strip and Mirai Nikki combined, in a way, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, action supernatural. It looks very colorful, very animated. So Shine Animation and Domerica. Shine has done a lot of stuff. Ooh, that's not great. They've done some decent things here and there. Yeah, I'm not going to knock them too much. Don't have the greatest amount of experience with them. With either of them, actually. They're working on Kabaddi as well this season as kind of their first things. For a very visually in-your-face production, I hope the studios can do it justice, because the designs themselves are very in-your-face. I'm hoping that the actual series can also be like that, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, I feel like I've heard the name The World Ends With You a lot before, and seeing it in anime form, maybe it's going to be finally clicking for me as to what I think about it. But looks like an interesting premise. Like I said, looks like Mirai Nikki and the Keeper Strip mashed together, but I guess we'll see what ends up happening with it. And then finally, last show of Saturday, Blue Reflection Ray. Set in a world where feelings such as joy, sadness, and anger have an unseen influence on reality, the story follows the fateful meeting of Hiyori Hirahara, an outgoing girl who always reaches out to people in need, and Ruka Hanari, a socially awkward girl who doesn't know how to get along well with other people. Will their feelings change themselves and the world around them? I don't know what to think of this. I don't want to think. Yuri has me interested. Mahou Shoujo has me interested. This is not a lot to go on as to what kind of direction we're going with. And the art style is also very, very interesting. Like, very interesting. So this is by JC Staff, who have done some pretty noticeable stuff before. Like I said, they're doing a lot this season. They're doing 4 this season, in fact. And I've watched a fair amount of their previous works as well. Danmachi, Konosuba, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we've been through this. I've watched a lot of their earlier stuff as well. So, I'm curious as to what this show is going to actually be. Like, what is this unseen influence on reality? I wonder how they're going to depict that. Because that could be very, very interesting, depending on how it's shown. Looks like Crunchyroll picked this one up. I'm very interested to see what they're actually doing this and what direction they're turning this in. But there's not a lot to go off, and I like that. I like that there's not a lot to go off of on this show, because it makes me think, I have no idea what this could be. I have absolutely no idea, and that mystery element to not know is kind of enticing. Because whilst I do this, and I do this to familiarize myself with the shows a bit, I do like synopses that don't give you all the information up front and have you guessing for part of it. Some are more predictable than others, and some just outright tell you, but I like the shows that you really can't judge what you're going to get until you actually watch it. So I guess we'll see what ends up happening. And now, moving on to the busiest day of the season, let's get into the Sunday shows. Moving on to the Sunday shows, and I thought my voice was going already. We have 9 shows on Sunday. Yeah, we have 9 shows. This is by far the busiest I've been. We have had an 8-show day previous season, but we have a 9-show day. And I can tell you now, at least 3 of these will be dropped, like, very early on. Maybe another 2, because I have to cut this down. I just have to cut this down. There's no way I can keep this up more than 1 a week. So we will have to cut this down. We will have to cut this down very, very quickly. So the first on the lineup is Vivy, Fluorite Eye's Song. Nearland is a complex theme park managed entirely by AIs. Vivy is the first humanoid AI deployed there, where she sings to the attendees every day following her directive to make everyone happy through songs. One day, an AI named Matsumoto appears before her, saying he comes from 100 years in the future, with the directive to work with Vivy to stop the war between humans and AI that is soon to come. Okay, very interesting. An original project dealing with AI and robots and stuff like that. Looks like there's some CG usage. I guess that's based on what people have seen in the trailer. This is by Wit Studio, who have done plenty of stuff in the past that I've definitely watched, I think. They've done some Attack on Titan stuff for the movie. They did Sport Climbing Girls. They've done a lot of Attack on Titan stuff, Vinland Saga. Like, yeah, they're a well-established studio. They did After the Rain, a series I mentioned already today, as well as Magus Bride. So I'm not really concerned about the overall quality of the production. I'm curious as to how they're going to play this story, though. It seems like a very interesting premise. Dealing with humanoid and self-aware AI is always a topic of interest for me. There's a lot of games and movies and stuff that have used that as a plot point. So I'm kind of curious to see where we end up going with that. But yeah, I'm intrigued. And I'm hoping that the first episode catches me, because I don't really necessarily want to drop this. Like, I don't see this as a drop candidate from the initial list anyway. So I'm hoping the first episode really sells me. And it's because I'm feeling like this might be a show like Listeners. I wanted to like Listeners a lot. I was intrigued by it. And then the first episode kind of turned me off from it. So I'm hoping this doesn't do the same thing. I'm hoping this captures me from the first episode, but we'll see. Next up, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. An at-home comedy about a powerful girl who doesn't work too hard. Okay. After dying of overwork in the real world, Jesus, I'm reincarnated as a mortal witch, and I spend 300 years enjoying a relaxing life. At some point, though, I end up at level 99. All those years spent killing slimes to make the money to pay the bills gave me a ton of experience points. Rumors of the level 99 witch spread, and soon I'm up to my ears in curious adventurers, duelist dragons, and even a monster girl calling me her mum. Okay. This isn't a dojo, so don't come here to fight me. I've never been on an adventure, but I'm the strongest in the world. What's going to happen to my relaxing life? Weird. So that was, yeah. Kugaldo and Q-Think Yuri, interestingly. Isekai show, yeah. This looks very much like a comedy show. OPMC. Looks like something I'm going to be interesting. Beelzebub as a character looks interesting. Yuki as main character, okay. I mean, that's going to work just fine then. Goddamn Yuki, her voice must be shot soon. Like mine at this point. Yeah, this is by Studio Reveroots, who I have not seen anything of. Nope, no experience with them whatsoever, but I assume it's going to be just fine. I don't foresee too many problems with this. Not with a premise like this, anyway. Yeah, I mean, this just looks like it's cute girls doing cute things with an OPMC that just is tired of people coming to bother her when she's just trying to live a peaceful life and has done for 300 years. This looks like it could just be some fun comedy. Adventure fantasy, life of life. Interestingly, it doesn't have the comedy tag. This feels like it should absolutely be a comedy tag anime, but it's just not there. So, kind of curious about that fact, but I guess we'll see what ends up happening in this. Maybe there'll be an overall plot to it. I'm kind of curious to see how OP she is, because she's not fully aware of her OPness in a way, so I'm wondering if they're going like a bow free route and having her have ridiculous abilities and such, or if she's just ridiculously strong and uses basic abilities that just wipe people out. I wonder. I guess we'll see, but yeah, interested. I don't think this is on the drop list either, but we'll see what ends up happening with it. Next up, Shadow's House. Now, this is a show I'm really, really interested in, especially after the disappointment that was Promised Neverland Season 2, and the lack of suspense and fear. This looks like it could capture that. In Shadow's House, a faceless clan lives in a large mansion, masquerading as nobles. Their caretakers are living dolls who spend their days cleaning up the dirt the tenants leave behind. But there's a deeper mystery at play, and the secret of the house will be unveiled. Short, sweet, perfect synopsis that gives you some information, but also just hides a lot of it. And it's like, there's a mystery. Analyst is having trouble today. Not all is as it seems. And that makes me very interested. Now, it is Cloverworks again, who did work on Promised Neverland Season 2, so not so much hope. But they did Horror Me and they did Wonder Egg Priority, so we forgive them for that. But they've done some really good shows that I've enjoyed, and they look good as well. So I'm not going to complain about Cloverworks being on this production. If anything, Cloverworks can elevate this work quite nicely, and I'm very, very, very interested in this. I don't want to look further down at tags right now, as much as I can. I want to go into this as blind as I am now. This is as blind and as much information I want to know. Seeing Akari Kito in that lineup is very, very nice. But yeah, we have fantasy, mystery, slice of life, supernatural. I'm so intrigued by this. I'm hoping this has that creepy, suspenseful factor like early Higurashi did for me. Because when I was first watching Higurashi, I was like, oh, it feels so off when these characters react the way they did. And towards the end of the season, it became like, oh god, just like with the chandelier and stuff. Spoilers for Higurashi, go. Although chandelier shouldn't really give you too much of a spoiler. Yeah, I'm hoping this gets that creepiness factor, and I hope it captures the what I was missing from Promised Neverland Season 2 this last season. So, very excited for this. Probably won't end up on the drop list unless something really just doesn't connect with me, but I want to really, really like this show. Let's just put it that way. Next up, 86, A War Without Casualties. The Republic of San Magnolia has long been under attack from the neighboring Giadian Empire's army of unmanned drones known as the Legion. After years of painstaking research, the Republic finally developed autonomous drones of their own, turning the one-sided struggle into a war without casualties, or at least that's what the government claims. In truth, there is no such thing as a bloodless war. Beyond the fortified walls protecting the 85 Republic territories lies the non-existent 86th Sector. The young men and women of this forsaken land are branded by 86 and strip their humanity, pilot the unmanned weapons into battle. So yeah, whilst the rest of the world believes everything's fine, this is actually going on. So it's kind of like Hunger Games District 13, right? Was it District 13? Was it District 12? I think it's District... I can't remember. You know, the one district that's kind of like hidden away from society, or is like they don't know it has a poor situation or something. Like, I'm getting that type of vibe from it. Like, this looks interesting. Interesting mech designs. It's literally a gun strapped to a spider-like design. I'm kind of curious where this ends up going. It is A1 Pictures, who don't need any introduction at this point. Like, if they do, where have you been in anime? Kaguya-sama, Wars of Sigurdrifa, Haramanga, whatchamacallit, I forget what your name is. There's Sword Art, there's Dying in the Frame. They've done so much. Blend S, they've done so many good things. Interview with Monster Girls, another fantastic one. They worked on Shelter, Ace Attorney, it's like Persona stuff, Wagnaria. Like, the list goes on and on. Your Line April, it just goes on and on and on. There's so many good shows that they've done. Some bad ones as well, obviously, but they're not all perfect. Yeah, I'm very curious by this. I'm curious to see what they want to do with it. It's drama sci-fi. Sci-fi, obviously, because tanks and stuff. I wonder if this is going to turn into a point where, as they fight the war, they realize, why do we accept the situation we're in? Why do we accept just being the 86th sector that... Why do we have to be the ones to pilot these? I wonder if they're... Obviously, they're going to talk about that, because why establish that as a thing? But I wonder if they're going to flip and maybe betray the other 85 at any point. I wonder if that'll ever be considered. Maybe they join with the enemy. Could be kind of an interesting plotline, just saying. So, yeah. I'm interested to see where this goes. It kind of needs to hook me very early on, though, I think. Mainly with a bit of an action sequence, I think, for me to really care. Because, like I said, this is 4 shows in of the 9. And I'm already like, I want to like these ones. And I still haven't got to some of the other shows yet. So let's keep going. This is Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. This is the one manga that I've actually read. Like, I'm not a manga guy. I don't tend to read this. This is one of the ones that I actually kept up with for quite a long time. And up until, like, late 2019, I think I was caught up with. So, yeah. Nagatoro, freshman in high school who loves teasing and torturing her older male classmate. What's her motivation? Why does Senpai put up with her? Does Nagatoro just want to create Misery Senpai? Or maybe she secretly likes him? So, yeah, this is a bit more of a bit more of an adult ecchi Takagi-san. Like, not quite adult ecchi, like, not in that way, but this is definitely more of a, because they're older, they can mess around and do certain things with it that they probably couldn't do with, Takagi. As you can see, insanely popular already, as expected. This is Telecom Animation Film, who have done, they did Tower of God, so it's going to be a good art style, I think. They also did Orange, okay, so I'm not too concerned by the studio. But yeah, I was caught up to date with this for a while, so I know I enjoy this. It's going to be nice to see certain scenes animated. I don't remember a lot of it. It's going to be nice to just have voices to it and actual looks and animation to it. I'm very excited for this, and will not be dropped, almost certainly. I think people... If you're new to the series, I think you need to give it more than one episode. I know I'm a bit hypocritical, especially when I've got like 9 shows today. But this is a show that I think does need more episodes, because if I remember correctly, early on, I didn't like Nagatoro at all. Like, I think early on, she can come across as a very abrasive character, and not a likable abrasiveness, if that makes sense. So, I would say give her a little bit of time, so you can warm up to her a bit and get used to her, then you'll be fine. It's kind of similar to Uzaki in a way, but Uzaki is not as bad as Nagatoro in my opinion. From what I remember, Nagatoro is one of the more abrasive, bully-type characters in these types of shows. So, give her some time, and I think you'll grow to like her a bit more. That's what happened for me, so... yeah. We're not dropping this because I know I'm going to like this already, and I've been looking forward to this ever since they announced it. So, yeah. Next up, Battle Athletes Victory Restart. This feels like a very easy drop for me, but we'll see. So, aspiring athletes from around the galaxy gather to compete in a tournament where the winner will be crowned the Cosmic Beauty. What begins as rivalry grows into friendship among the athletes, including a lunar refugee and her kangaroo companion, the daughter of an arms-dealing CEO, a mysterious loner and Earth's representative, a humble potato farmer named Kanata Akahoshi. I believe that's this girl here, the girl in the very forefront. I think that's our humble potato farmer. So I believe this is a... See, here's the thing. I believe this is a... Let's just refresh it because it's going to do it anyway. I believe this is a remake? It's listed as a prequel, this one, from 1997. But I don't know if this is actually a remake or if it's a different thing. Like, no one really has a definitive answer yet because it hasn't come out. I'm not super excited for this. I just added it because I was like, I'll make a list of it just in case it's fun. But I'm not thrilled for it, and for the sake of my schedule, I will happily drop this, quite honestly, unless it does something superb. Previous other shows from the studio don't have me particularly excited. Let's just put it that way. I do need to give this another go. But yeah, I'm not super excited. We'll see what happens. You might not even see the first episode of this on the channel because I might have dropped it already just to help my schedule out on the first day. Who knows? Next up, Eden Zero. 11 months after the grand finale of Fairy Tail, Master mangaka Hiro Matsushima is back with a great adventure beyond imagination. All the steadfast friendship, crazy fighting, and blue cats you come to expect in space. So, as far as I can tell, this doesn't actually have any relation to Fairy Tail. I think it's just similar universe. I don't know how this works. But as far as I know, I don't need to know a Fairy Tail or anything to enjoy this. This is a separate thing entirely. As far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. A young boy gazes up at the sky and sees a streaming bolt of light. The friendly, armor-clad being at his side tells him gently that's a dragon. The fact that he's joking isn't important. What's important is the look of wonder on the boy's face, and the galaxy-spanning adventure that's about to take place. Join Hiramashima once more as he takes to the stars for another thrilling saga. No idea what to expect. Absolutely no idea what to expect. I don't know why Analyst is having so much trouble today. Yeah, space. Apparently there might be some links to Fairy Tail, but I don't think there's anything like... There might be some references, maybe. But as far as I'm aware, I do not need to know a Fairy Tail to enjoy this. This is by JC Staff, who we've already seen this season, doing Blue Reflection Ray. I can't speak. My voice is shot. As well as Combatants will be dispatched. So we discussed them already today. I'm not sure what to think. Action, adventure, fantasy, sci-fi. It looks like it could be some good fun. I don't know if this is necessarily my type of series yet, but we'll give it an honest go. But I would not be surprised if this ended up being on the drop list. Just based on it's a busy season and my interests kind of lie elsewhere in the season so far. Next up. Pretty Boy Detective Club. Okay, Pretty Boy Detective Club, a mysterious organization that's rumored to solve problems at Yubiwa Academy. Manabu the Asfeti? Asphetes? I'm not quite sure how to say that word, actually. Michiru the Epicure, Hyota the Adonis, Nagahiro the Orator, and Sosaku the Ariste, or Ariste? No, the Artiste, sorry. I can't read either, apparently. Search for a star she glimpsed 10 years ago. Second-year student Mayumi Dojima calls on these 5 pretty boys to help her solve the case. Which pretty boy is your favorite? Thank you, analyst. Yeah, this does not seem like my demographic, again. But we'll give it an honest go. I mean, interesting designs. The leg. This is leg of the anime. Like, holy shit. I've got to make a note of this one later. Which one is it? Pretty Boy, okay. The leg. Like, holy... Jesus. Jesus. So yeah, leg the anime, I guess. So this is Shaft. I made a joke. Like, here's the thing. I made a joke about Assault League Bouquet because Shaft, in their animation on that, because I didn't expect them to do this, focused very heavily on thigh. Like, it was the new Shaft head tilt, because Shaft is known for the head tilt, right? The you know, I can't actually do it, I'll break my neck. But that was kind of like Shaft's like very distinguishing, aside from other aspects of their art style and direction, you could tell it was a Shaft production as soon as there was a head tilt. In Assault Leader Bouquet, didn't really get a head tilt. We might have got one or two, maybe, I can't remember. We got a lot of thigh focus. And now here we are with Pretty Boy Detective Club, and we've got so much leg focus. I'm not kidding when I think Shaft is now becoming a leg anime studio. I genuinely think they're becoming legs. Shaft's focus is leg. I'm not even kidding at this point. Their focus is leg. I don't know why that amuses me so. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't seem like my type of show, but with Shaft animating it, who knows, right? Like, I didn't think I'd enjoy Assault Leader Bouquet, but Shaft made it work. I don't think I'm going to enjoy this, but Shaft could make it work. That's the reason why I'm interested in this, and the pure reason why I'm sticking with this, just like Assault Leader Bouquet. The reason why it's on the list is because of Shaft. A big studio name can give you a lot of attention to your anime, and for that reason, we'll give it a chance. Finally, last show on Sunday, we're almost done, Tokyo Revengers. So, Takemichi Hanagaki is a freelancer that's reached the absolute pits of despair in his life. He finds out that the only girlfriend he ever had in his life that he dated in middle school, Hinata Tachibana, has been killed by the ruthless Tokyo Manji gang. The day after hearing about her death, he's standing on the station platform and ends up being pushed over onto the tracks by a herd of people. He closes his eyes thinking he's about to die, but when he opens his eyes back up, he's somehow gone back in time 12 years. Now that he's back living the best days of his life, Takemichi decides to get revenge on his life by saving his girlfriend and changing the person he'd been running away from. Changing himself that he'd been running away from. It's kind of an odd sentence to say. But yeah, okay. Time travel. Revenge type show. Now, I know immediately people are thinking swastika. But because it's flat, and it's not angled, it's therefore not swastika, it's the, what language is it? That's a symbol meaning something else, like hope or something, right? When it's depicted like this. So I don't believe they're necessarily using that as the Nazi symbology. I believe they're using it as the other symbology, which I can't remember exactly what it was. And notably from all the anime promo stuff, it seems to be absent. From the looks of things. Most of the anime promo stuff does not use it, so maybe it was that, I don't know. But yeah, age regression, delinquent stuff. Action, drama, romance, supernatural. Another Lions film stuff, we've talked about them enough today. Not really sure if this is my thing. Kind of undecided. It's an interesting idea, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what to think about this or where the story could possibly be going. Hi, Kirito. But it looks like it could be interesting. There's a decent amount of hype for it as well, to be fair. Like 16k before it even starts. That's decently hyped, so I'm curious, but I'm not 100% certain if I'm going to dig it. And considering the fact that Sunday is so busy, it has to impress on its first episode. Otherwise, I'm just not going to give it that time of day. So we'll see, but it's possible that some of these Sunday shows, if I drop some shows on Monday, which isn't necessarily certain, I might move some of the Sunday shows over to Monday just to make my schedule a little bit easier, but we'll see when we get to that. So that's the actual series all wrapped up. We've gone through Monday to Sunday. However, I did want to add on a special mention for the Where the Househusband, because I haven't actually included it in my schedule, because I do not know how it's releasing properly. I'm aware that this is a Netflix production, and because it's a Netflix production, I don't know if it's getting a worldwide release at the same time as its Japanese release, or how it's going to work. So I'm hoping this comes out onto UK Netflix, first of all, and depending on how it's going to release will determine where it slots into things. But I'm excited for this, in a way. I know people have been saying the trailer is disappointing from an animation standpoint. I haven't watched the trailer yet, and I don't intend to. But the premise of the show kind of sells it for me. So, he was the fiercest member of the Yakuza, a man who left countless underworld legends in his wake. They called him the Immortal Dragon, but one day he walked away from it all to travel another path. The path of the Househusband. The curtain rises on this cozy Yakuza comedy. Yakuza comedy, you never thought you'd see it. So, yeah. I really like this idea because I've recently watched playthroughs of the entire Yakuza franchise of games, all the way from Yakuza 0 through Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through to the latest one, which features a new Yakuza member in the form of Like a Dragon. But I can't help but feel what's his face? I've forgotten his name now. I wanted to say Kirito because it's Kiryu, not Kirito. Kirito and Kiryu because it's Kirito Kazuma, right? Like because it's whatever. But yeah, it's Kiryu from the Yakuza franchise. I just imagine him as Kiryu, and he kind of has the look going on in a way. Like, I can imagine this is actually Kiryu from the Yakuza franchise. And that just immediately makes me love it, in a way. And, as you probably would have guessed, my boy Kenjiro Suda is voicing main character, so I'm sold. Like, I'm absolutely sold on it. Like, I know the animation quality might be a concern based on what people have said about this trailer, but, because, I mean, that's not a great still image. But, I think I'm going to enjoy it regardless. And depending on how it's releasing, we'll either get to it when it gets released, or however it gets released will determine where it slots into my schedule and how I'm actually going to end up doing it. So, stay tuned for that one. I don't have any more secure details on it. I know it premieres soon, but I don't know what the deal is with Netflix releases. If if Crunchyroll or Funimation will be picking it up at all this season, or if it's just exclusive to Netflix. We'll see. So, yeah. With all that said, that is the entire Spring 2021 season wrapped up in a 2-hour recording. It will be cut down a little bit because there were some pauses in between each day just so I could drink, because I've gone through all my drink now. My voice is shot, like absolutely shot. I need more drink because I still have 4 anime to record today. This is why I was worried about doing this on a busy day, because I thought my voice isn't going to last. It really isn't. So, yeah, that is the season. We still have the business of other shows. So, the monthly movie polls are continuing. There's no change to that, and they will be continuing as per usual. So, that will go up on the 1st of April and run for a week, so you can vote on what movie you want me to watch. There'll be 6 movie options on there. I'm not adding a new one this time. We're going to let the existing 6 run and see where that lies. So that's going to be some fun times with those. Wolf Children the movie will be coming up next week as well, so enjoy that one. We also have Patreon request shows to slot in somewhere. I don't quite know where they're going to slot in yet. So the only shows carrying over right now is World Trigger, and maybe a little bit of Log Horizon, depending on how quickly I can catch back up with that one. That's the real issue with that one, is Log Horizon, is that I delayed so many episodes, unfortunately, that it's going to be somewhat difficult to catch up. World Trigger is extending into it. Symphogear is going to finish. Season 1 will finish. And depending on how many shows I drop, and depending on whether the request for Symphogear Season 2 is wanting to come in, I'll be talking with all my Patreon members who have requested shows to let them know this as well, to know that, hey, this is a busy season, I might need a couple of weeks just to figure things out, and then if you would like to get your season requests in, then you're more than welcome to, because I would like to get to Log Horizon Season 2, I would like to get to Symphogear Season 2, because I want to get through all of 5 seasons of Symphogear, really. World Trigger is continuing on, we've already established that one. And then School Life doesn't have a sequel, so unless we get a new show, I don't know. But I might limit myself to just the 3 shows, World Trigger, Symphogear, and Log Horizon for now, if Patreon members want to extend that. So I'll put more information out on there. Discord is a good place to look for that as well. But I'm just hesitant on expanding upon an already insanely big schedule. So give me a week or 2 to figure that out during the first bits of the season. I can always catch up later to make sure that we don't miss out on shows. But I'm thinking almost certainly World Trigger is going on the Wednesday. And then any other shows might slot in on maybe Thursday or Tuesday, depending on how many shows get dropped. Maybe Monday? Maybe Friday. It depends on what shows get dropped, but it's usually going to be in the week. The weekend is so busy that I can't even consider it unless I drop like a majority of the shows. So any Patreon request shows will probably go into the midweek. So stay tuned for that. I'll announce more details on that. We also have Soma Spider So What continuing. So that will be resuming its Saturday slot, I believe, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think it resumes its Saturday slot. So I think I might drop at least one of those Saturday shows, maybe even two. So it should fit in just fine. We'll be continuing on with Soma Spider. And yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping stuff I have to get to for this season. Right? I think that's everything I had to mention. If I remember anything else, it'll be in the comments down below, so double check down there before you finish the video, I guess, just in case I forgot to mention something very important. But I think that was everything, so thank you everyone for watching. This was a very long one. 2 hours and 2 minutes of recording time we're up to now. It's insane, but it's a busy season, and I wanted to cover everything and give it all its proper time, so thank you for sticking with me if you've got to this point. I hope you're looking forward to the next season. Let me know your thoughts on what shows in particular you're very hyped for. If there are some shows that you think I'm not so interested in, but you think I would actually really enjoy based on previous watching, please let me know. No spoilers, of course, to any of the shows, because I want to go in as blind as possible. Obviously, I've done a video like this, and this is the most amount of information and research I'm doing on these shows is what I've just done here. So, yeah. Hope you're looking forward to some shows. As per usual, my Patreon will be providing full picture-in-picture reactions to every single show on this list. YouTube will be timer-based as per usual. And yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff to come up, so I hope you're excited, because I very much am. A lot of good shows, some good returning ones, and yeah, we'll kick this all off on Monday with Moriarty the Patriot Part 2. So look forward to that. Thank you everyone for watching, and until next time. See you guys later.